All right, guys, I'm back with another case study interview. Welcome, Jax.
Thank you for having me, Connor.
Dude, pumped to have you here. The 18-year-old that's making 10, 11K a month. What a story. It's really, really cool to see how fast you've come along this journey. I think this was about in like a 6-month period that you attained that.
Yeah, exactly 6 months. So the 6 month was a 10.7K month.
Unreal. And, to the points where you've had 2K days, all as an appointment setter. Again, by the way, not even as a closer yet, which, people on your team are making upwards of like 30, 35K, like the top earners on your offer.
40, 50K some months.
Crazy. So, you've got serious potential, very high ceilings, and you're doing very, very, very well, even just appointment setting, which is amazing to see. So I'm super excited to have you on, as I am always with all of these case studies. So I want to start to give the guys a bit of background and context about you. Something that's super amazing that you're super young, right? A lot of the guys that I interview on the channel are on the younger side of things, and even people who are older are like, "Wow, that's crazy to achieve the things you have at your age." So let's go a little bit into your story and go into the timeline before you actually met me. What were you doing? What were you doing for work? What was your plans coming out of high school or other type of good stuff?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So if we go all the way back, like I've always been that person, probably since age 8. I was like selling the candy in school. I was collecting all the cans on the street, like always had that entrepreneurial vision. But then if we bring it back to 2023, the end of 2023 is when I finished high school. And I'm like, I'm not sure exactly what I want to do, but I want to do something in the entrepreneur space. I want to be a business person. I'm not going to go to uni, not going to work a normal job. Although I did have a landscaping job at that time. I'm like, let's go into 2024 last year. I've got a landscaping job, so I've got money coming in and let's go and make some money. So whatever that was. So the first 6 months of 2024, I tried, what did I try? I tried e-commerce. I
Yeah.
tried, everyone's tried e-commerce in
Didn't,
sales.
didn't,
Hey?
didn't we all crypto, all
Yeah.
the good stuff?
Yeah. Yeah. So I did e-com, social media marketing agency. I tried video editing, videography, but none of them really stick. And I think partly because I didn't like it, but partly
Mhm.
due to me wanting to find the next thing. It's like the shiny object syndrome. So then it got to end of May, start of June. I'm like, let's do high ticket sales. Because this is when I was about to launch my social media marketing agency. I'm like, hang on, I actually don't know how to sell. I don't think this
Mhm.
is a good idea. So I saw you on YouTube and through one of a connection I met, Cody, he did some work with you. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, this guy looks good. So follow the YouTube, and then I believe it was the end of May, start of June, invested in the RSA.
Mm.
And since then, the last 6 months has just been sales, focus, focus, focus. Um, I would probably took 6 weeks to learn my first role, and then I was on that offer for around 1 month, and then
Mm.
I jumped off. I remember jumping on one of the training calls with you. I'm like, bro, the company's doing the company's doing 40 to 50 grand a month, and I'm setting. So I'm like, I don't know if there's any potential here. I'm like, should I stay on, keep the money coming in, and then look for another offer? You're like, bro, if the money's not on that offer, is that time better spent putting all those hours you would be working on that offer into finding the next best one? So that's what
Mm.
I did. So I hopped off that, spent about 2 weeks. So that was on a fitness appointment setting offer. And then I
Mm.
spent about 2 weeks networking and landed a next role, which was, it was actually a closing role, selling tradie business consulting.
I
And
remember.
I say closing, I'll go quote unquote closing because it was a
Mm.
$60 a week package, cancel anytime, get a refund. So it's not really, I wasn't, I wasn't really objection handling people or anything. I was like, oh, you want me to close? Yeah, let's do it. Let's see what this is about.
Mm.
So that I didn't make a lot of money there. And partly with that offer, because I wasn't on so this was like an elevator program. It was a side little school group they just created. It wasn't the main offer being what the 50 to 70 grand investment. It was like, yeah, the $60 a week one. And I noticed when I was on that offer, because I wasn't providing that much value to the company, I didn't get invested in. And I couldn't really see the pathway to be closing as soon as I was like, because the people on that offer met someone who was like his second or third year there, and he wasn't even closing yet. I was like, oh no, this isn't gonna happen. So the top month, the top week I did there was $1,000, but the average week there was around $500. And then
Mm,
from there, I used some networking strategies that you obviously mentioned, and then through
hmm.
my brother fostered a in-person relationship, and then jumped onto the offer I'm on now, and then the rest is history.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. As I talk about all the time, there's always a few false starts when you're kind of starting out. Like it's, you kind of, I can't remember exactly. I think Alex Mosey said there's like, four different stages of when you explore something new.
Mhm.
And one of the first stages is like you're very optimistic of everything. And even if I tell you through all the videos that you've watched and even through the DMs, like this is going to be difficult, this is going to take some time, even if you still have those expectations, it's still like you still want things easily and you want things right away, but you're gonna have to have the expectation, just like Jack's experienced and all my other like successful clients experience. You're gonna have a few false starts. Even with the right guidance, it's so easy to take a wrong turn and end up working on the wrong offers because everything looks shiny. Like you said before, it's like closing. Oh, sick. Okay, cool. Or my first offer, I'm talking to, someone who makes 40, 50 grand a month. Oh, that's amazing. That's super cool. Let's work with him. Right? You kind of just get excited and jump the gun.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I remember before I reached out to you. You actually DM closed me as well, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
Before I reached out, just had this feeling. I'm like, oh, I know nothing about sales, but this is going to be the thing. This is going to be the vehicle because it just made sense. And obviously, I was consuming your YouTube videos. You're like, this takes 6 to 12 months. This isn't easy. This is going to be hard. And I'm like, oh, this is someone that's probably telling the truth compared to all of these other marketers that are like, oh yeah, you just do a couple hours on the computer and then you're done for the day. No, this isn't what it is. So
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be the vehicle for me because it just made sense. I'm like, let me learn the a foundational skill, probably the
Mm,
most important skill, because everything in life is sales. Like
mm,
everything. So I'm like, let's dedicate a year to this, and then 6 months in, we're here now.
which is amazing. And it comes up again and again and again, almost on like every one of these interviews. Uh, it's very, very like it's a pattern. Like I see it all the time. People who come to coaching calls consistently ask questions and show up properly and actually implement what I tell them to do. Very rarely, if they do all the right things, do they not hit that 10K a month mark within 6 months to 12 months? A lot of the times it's 6 months on average, because 6 months is giving you a bit of a leeway to like build a bit of a personal brand, make a few mistakes, have a few false starts, and just get like a foundational level of skill. Because on the ramp up on your current offer, it's like you didn't crush it straight away, but you did somewhat decently well. But as you had some more experience, you started to get a decent foundation. Not exceptional, right? How could you? You've only been doing it for 6 months, but in the
Yeah.
time that you have, you've been able to learn a lot more, which you saw your income gradually increase. But with sales, as I talk about all the time, is like there is no ceiling, but there's no floor either. So when you're
Yeah.
starting out, you need to be mentally prepared and financially prepared both to not earn a lot of income in the beginning.
Mhm.
Um, just the same with any make money online vehicle. I feel like
Mhm.
that's not talked about often enough. Like whether or not it's SMMA, drop shipping, e-commerce, or high ticket sales, or whatever it is that, someone's thinking of doing, it's gonna take time to figure it out. And there's gonna be a long time before you doubt and you see the result you're looking for to materialize. But when you do, like it becomes much easier afterwards because I want to hear about your mindset on how it's changed from never making money online beforehand to now doing 10K plus a month with a lot of potential upside and opportunity and room to grow in your current offer. How has your mindset changed being able to make that in a month? Like, what shifts have you noticed? Like, what beliefs has changed for you?
Yeah, well, great question. Like at the start of the year, start of last year, sorry, trying all these business models, I was like, yeah, I'm going to make it work. Obviously, positive attitude, but in the back of my mind, I'm like,
Yeah.
never made money online. Like, is it true? I don't know anyone that makes money online. It's like this little negative voice was in the back of my head. And
Yeah.
I just remember when I was on the setting for fitness, I think it was like $450 hit my account for 1 week's of work. I'm like,
Mm,
I did this from my parents' house. I
yeah.
did this, I did this in this chair. I'm like, no way, I just made money online. And as soon as that happened, I remember taking a screenshot, showing my mom, showing my brother. I'm like, I'm making money online now. Let's do it. Like we're here. It happens. And then that negative belief, that negative thought, don't even have it anymore. And now that, especially in the RSA, like when I
Mm,
first joined, saw, I think it was when Rahul did maybe like a 15, $20,000 month.
yeah.
And like we're on the team training calls and like it was speaking on that. I'm like, hang on, this guy's doing
Real.
20K a month. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, let me scroll through the school wins. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay, these people are actually making money. And then I jump on some calls with them, meet them, networking calls. They're all the limiting beliefs. I'm like, oh, wow. And then when that paycheck hit, it's like, oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. This is real. This works. So it was insane.
There's truly nothing like it, man. Like once you get that first little taste, there's just no going back. It's like taking the red pill. Like
Mm.
to go from what you're doing before, the laboring work, working X amount of hours per week, physical exertion, and, being sore at the end of the day, commuting to different spots, so on, so on. Um, Probably having a relatively shitty lifestyle too, which is not ideal because like you're moving from place to place. You need fast access to food. It's not easy to get access to healthy alternatives. Doesn't give you
Yeah.
as much time to dedicate towards like the gym and like a good healthy lifestyle to
Mm.
going and just sitting in your room and just making money on your own terms too. It's crazy.
Right. And the thing with that as well, like Zen's my brother for everyone watching. He's in high ticket sales as well. We have invested so much into our setup. So like all like the monitors, the chair, I've got a really comfy chair. I've got an ice bath. So in between calls, if I've got 5, 10 minutes in between trousers, for example, I'm like, oh, I've invested in my setup. Let me go and get some sun, have a ground, have an ice bath, reset, and then within 5 minutes, I'm back on the computer working. I'm like, this is insane. This is what happens when you make money online.
Yeah, it's a crazy lifestyle. I see even Reese posts a lot of that stuff as well. Reese Thompson, who's already another keystone in the channel. It's just like sorry, like he posted on his story the other day, like calculating commissions, like making like 2.5K in a day from taking a couple sales calls. Now, I say this more than I should, but or more than enough already. But again, it's like people hear that and go, "Oh, it's really easy." Of course not,
Mm,
right? It takes so much time to build up to that. But from what I've observed as like universal experience, if you can have better expectations, ultimately you're going to get better results. Yes, I'm a good coach. At least I think I am. The RSA is great, the training's great, the support that you get is great, but it ultimately comes down to the individual and their beliefs. So
mm,
if you think this is going to be easy and it's going to be overnight and it's going to be in the next 30, 60, 90 days and you fall short, that that whole premise in itself is what I see fails the majority of people who are trying to get into this. Um,
mm.
because they're sold the dream. Like I have so many people that come to me in the DMs and be like, "Well, can I get guaranteed placement? Can I get this? What like blah blah blah, so on, so on, so on." And I was like, "Bro, this is not for you." Yeah, this is not for you, man. I mean, I'm curious on like what you've heard about like guaranteed placement in the space, your experiences with it.
So I've never personally had any experience with guaranteed placement, mainly because everyone I spoke to that invested in a program with guaranteed placement never worked because
Yeah.
they like got the offer, they got on the job with the placement, guaranteed placement. Turns out it was shit. Then they're stuck on it. They don't have any skills to go and find the next offer. It's like you're not autonomous at that point. So once you
Mm,
learn the skills and actually find a great company to partner with and to work with, then it's almost like you're unstoppable in a way, I would say, in this
mm,
space. Like you just keep working and you like I always say for people entering this space, me personally, aim for 1 year of, of putting the work in, aim for 1 year, and then 9 times out of ten it will happen earlier. But coming
hmm.
with the it's gonna be hard. Put the work in and just follow your plan. That's all it is. And
Yeah,
like actually learn the skills rather than getting guaranteed placement, in my opinion.
100%. Yeah. I mean, you said that very well. Um, I truly, honestly do think that if you can learn two skills, job acquisition and sales, you're set for life. Like you're never gonna have to worry about money again. You could be in the worst situations. Your bank account could go to zero. If you know how to get jobs and you know how to find good offers and you know how to interview well, you know how to screen for the right opportunities, you know how to find them through the right connections, you know how to sell, dude, it's literally game over. Like one of my most recent clients, um, a lot of my clients actually say this as well. Like a lot of the skills that you learn inside the RSA portal around offer acquisition are generally applicable across the board. Like it's not just
Oh,
high ticket sales, it's
yeah.
everything there is in the job market.
Oh, right. Where do I start with that? Even just your networking philosophies, like that's worth the investment itself. Like it's a lot more than sales. Like learning how to portray myself online to like content wise, and like learning how to network correctly, provide value without expecting anything. Once you apply these skills that are learnt in the RSA, not just in the sales base, but in life as a whole, the abundance just comes flashing through because once again you're learning the correct skills, and that's what you teach at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I wanted to ask you, because I won't say the founder's name because otherwise people will look him up, but I know who he is. I've seen him around. He's been in space for a while. What has that been like? Actually meeting, millionaires in person, and actually, because I know that you guys had a yacht party for the company party. I'm sure that was pretty cool. What
Yeah,
was that?
yeah.
What was that like, bro? Like being able to spend time with someone who's super successful in person, shake their hand, have conversations. Like, what type of shifts do you think happened for you? And like, what was that like, especially as an 18-year-old? That's really cool. Like, I remember the first time I met my mentor, and I was like the first millionaire I met, and I was like
Yeah.
dumbfounded. I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like, you're a real person. I can shake your hand. Like, how was that experience for you?
Very interesting. Not what most people would say it would be like. It was meeting them, like meeting the founder, meeting the top sales reps, talking to them, connecting with them, and then realizing, oh, you're a human. It's
Mm,
like, oh, just because you're making millions, and like you've been up on a pedestal and like, oh, it'd be great to meet and connect with these people. But once you actually meet them and connect with them, you're like, oh, if they can do it, I can do it. And it's the same thing being in the RSA, the exposure. Like, oh,
mm,
for example, like Reese, oh, he hit 10K a month. I'm gonna hit 10K a month. Rahul, he's
mm,
hit whatever, 40, 50K a month. Oh, I can hit 40, 50K a month. And then meeting the founder, it's like, oh, you make probably 500,000 a month. So I can make that. And then the
mm.
more and more people you meet that are doing well, it's like, oh, that's what's possible. Just got to work. They've all got the same, they all do the same thing, just the work. That's it. Just got to do the work and it's possible. So that was the biggest thing once I met him.
I think that's huge. Like, it's something I talk about all the time, and it's something that I kind of realized over the last year or two, probably like 2 years, which is like the whole element of exposure. Right. There's probably a lot of people watching this that have probably never made money online before. They probably don't know anybody in person or any of their friends have done so before. So if you're able to have the ability or the opportunity to surround yourself with the right people, whether or not it's, certain networks, business owners, founders, mentors, things like that, high ticket sales is one of the best ways to surround yourself with successful people really quickly.
Yeah.
It really normalizes the interactions that you have with really successful people, working with really successful founders. Like in the 5 years or 4 years that I did full-time high ticket sales, I met so many crazy people that like super transform like my beliefs about how making money online is possible and what's possible. Exactly what you said really was that I'd meet these guys making $100,000 a month, or again, 1 million a month, right? One of the eight-figure founders that I work for, again, you get to see how they think and, what they believe about the world. And you start to think very similarly. And like you said before, not to repeat, but it's that proof of concept. Like you see, okay, this person's a real person and they're not, like you said, you're not to put them on a pedestal. Like they have the same problems that you have. They've just been doing what you want to do for a lot longer than you have.
Yeah, definitely. And going back to the exposure side of things,
Mm.
like obviously joining a paid program where you get in the networks, you get in the communities where people are winning, that's obviously an avenue that I would recommend you explore. But even all these little things like I know that the gym that I go to, it's a $20 a week membership for the base package. And then they've got this private room where you pay $50, $60 a week. And then the caliber of person you go in there, like, so now I pay $56 a week for my gym membership, go into the sauna, and they're all business owners. Like I would say 80% of them are all business owners. And it's once again getting that exposure. It's like, oh wow, this is the life. He's here at 11 a.m. on a Wednesday. Like all these little things, it's like, wow, this is what's possible. This is life. So when you can, I'm sure we'll touch on it, but investing in yourself and so you can get more exposure. Just the limiting beliefs just go boop 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 boop, and there's no more. It gets to a point there's no more.
Yeah, it's very, very important to focus on if you're kind of just getting started with making money online or you don't know anybody. Again, I mean, Jack said it himself, but I'm gonna say it as well. It comes from a biased position, but getting in a paid community is just invaluable. Like you surround yourself with people who are already doing what you want to do. Particularly with many people from across the world, like US, UK, Australia. For some reason, people just think I work with people from Australia. I got that the other day. Um, when you see other people from your country as well, particularly again for the Australians that are watching this, there's just so limited people that are doing something in Australia. Like there's very few like proper communities of people who are making money, who are doing well, who are successful and are of that mindset because Australia is very closed-minded in itself. And compared to like America, it's not as driven as America. And like entrepreneurship, making money online is not anywhere near as celebrated as it is in America. Like not even close.
You can tell it when you're talking to the prospects.
Yeah.
You talk to some of the Aussie people that are like, oh, skeptical. I don't know if this works. Ecom, like, I think it's a scam. And then you talk to the US guys, it's like, just show me the plan. Like, I want to make this work. And like, even some of the people like my family, they're all Australian. Some of their mindsets towards making money online, I'm like, oh, I don't want to see you anymore. Can't be
Yeah.
around that. There's
Big
definitely a
time.
culture.
It's a very big culture thing. It's a very big culture thing. A lot of the Australians that are watching this will definitely resonate. But let's talk about what it takes. I mean, we've talked about how difficult it is and how obviously making money online, high ticket sales itself isn't an easy thing to do. But I want to give the guys a bit of an insight to your development, how you show up, how you train. Because again, a lot of my clients watch these interviews and I tell them to watch these interviews to go, look what other successful people are doing and just replicate it. So I'm curious on like what your work rate's been looking at like over the past couple of months when your newer stuff are. How have you been training? How have you been developing? Let's give the guys an insight to that.
Yeah, but before I touch on to the training side of things, just to give people a reference, like I'm going to tell you right now, it takes a lot of work. But for example, like it's a Saturday today. I woke up this morning, scripted 2 YouTube videos for my personal brand, went and trained for 2 hours, then came back, did 3 to 4 hours of sales, and filmed 2 YouTube videos, and then now talking with you. It's like once you start seeing some reward for the work you put in, you're addicted to it. Like I'll probably have a similar day tomorrow, being a Sunday, and like once you start putting that work in, it's just a snowball effect. You have the momentum and you just become addicted to getting better and getting to that next level. But a little bit more going back to the training side of things, I would be doing maybe an hour to hour and a half of sales training a day, and then around 8 hours on the phones, on the dolls. And
Crazy.
that's Monday through Friday with like a half day on Saturday.
Yeah. And it's the trenches, but what you're doing is you're really firmly developing and learning a skill that's going to serve you for the rest of your life. You know,
Mm.
setting, moving to closing. Like it's crazy that I just before we started recording, like I was just so blown away. Like I forgot that you're 18. Like the opportunity that you are sitting on right now as an 18-year-old is more than I could have ever possibly fathomed or imagined at your age. It's amazing. It's really cool to see. Like you have people that you are surrounded by that are literally making 30, 40K plus per month. It's insane.
Crazy.
It's
And
crazy.
like I see their calendars. I've got access to their calendars. So
Yeah.
I see the work that they put in. I'm like, let me just duplicate that in my calendar. And
Mm,
like you always something there's a comment, there's a training in the RSA that you say it. It's like time just takes time. And I'm like, once you've got the right roadmap, the right plan, you're duplicating the top performers. Just do what they're doing, and then time takes time, and you'll get there in no time.
yeah, 100%. And I'll again, I'll repeat that because again, a lot of people don't realize that, and especially younger people as well. You know, if you're 18, 19, 20, 21 watching this, those years are gonna go by very, very quickly. Think fast enough at times, but just again, understand that time takes time. That's all it is, right? It's frustrating. I understand that. But, you know, if you look at like Jackson and everybody else on the channel, and you've been looking at making money online for a while now, if you knew that you could get to where they've gotten to, because they are real people like yourself, right? I'm a very real person. I try to normalize myself as much as possible or humanize myself as much as possible because people put me on a pedestal as well. I understand that because I used to do that to people I used to look up to as well. Um, all it is just time. Like Jack said, you know, put in a plan and then just follow it and just keep walking. It's just about being consistent, especially when you're not seeing the results that you're looking for, which is very demoralizing and very not motivating. The same as like when I learned snowboarding recently, when I went to Japan. Like the first, I didn't get any coaching, which was very stupid, but I just decided to learn myself and I like ate shit in the snow like 120 times easily the first day. It
Yeah.
sucked. It was humiliating. But the guy that I learned with, that I was with for New Year's in Japan, or for the trip, the words he literally just said to me encapsulates everything that I say about high ticket sales and making money line itself, which is just that just keep getting up, man. Just keep getting up. That's all I can tell you. Just like every time you fall, just keep getting up. And it's the same thing with making money online. It's there's so many beliefs like you said before about like it's not possible, it's not real. And I even say most clients when they come and join the training program, The earlier you get some type of tangible result, whether it's interviews or making your first dollars, that is the game within itself. Because even though you might trust me, training program, you've watched all my content, you like me, you know I can get your results, you've seen the results that I get for people, you still have that belief in the back of your mind of like, this doesn't work. So the
Yeah,
earliest you can move towards that first commission, even if it's like $100, like that absolutely matters. And the faster you can do that, the better.
for sure. And I remember, I think it was the first offer I was going for. I had 6 job interviews in 1 week. And
Yeah.
as following your strategy, yes, time takes time, but the time to get to where you want to go is minimized by having the right plan. And then
Mm.
following your plan, it was like, I think it was about 10 days, no interviews landed or anything. And then the following 7 days, 6 interviews. I'm like, oh, time just takes time when you've got the right plan. So
Yeah.
it's crazy.
And the same thing I say as a million gazillion times, everybody's pretty tired by now, would be tired from, which is just that it's nothing for a while, then it's all at once. It's how it happens every single time. Like just law of accumulation. The problem with most people, and I know this because I went through this like personally myself, which is that you think that what you're doing doesn't count, but everything counts. It's everything. It's the time that you wake up, it's the messages that you send, it's the training that you do, it's everything. It all counts, positive or negative. Whether or not you're, choosing to opt in for Netflix and just chill out and not do anything, or whether or not you chose to send out 50 outbound messages that day or send out XYZ applications or do training, like it all counts. Always, always, always counts. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm curious, man, like what's your goal from here? So I mean, you're at a good level for an 18-year-old, absolutely. But like where do you want to go from here? What are the aspirations you have for 2025?
So for 2025, I've already planned it. So
Beautiful.
halfway, of course, we have in the RSA.
Of course.
So halfway through the year, I'll be moving to Koh Samui, so in
Beautiful.
Thailand.
Nice.
And then the goal is now to take my income from just over 10K a month by the end of the year to $25,000 a month with the company that I'm with now, and transition from setting to closing. And then obviously rolling that into some investments. End of the year, should be buying a piece of property over in Koh Samui with Zen, my brother. So
Cool.
yeah, everything's mapped out. Just following the plan now and doing the work.
Love that, man. Love that. You guys will see Zen on the channel very soon. Very soon. Trust me. You can have my word on that. Um, But yeah, that's amazing, man. And it's such a crazy freedom that you now have that you're like, okay, I'm just gonna go live in Thailand. Like
Mm.
it's insane. And you at your age, that'll be the funnest thing ever, I can guarantee you. You'll love it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like towards the end of last month, because I hit my 10K month. I think it was like the 20th or 22nd at the latest. I was like, oh, I'm actually going to Thailand now. It's not just a thought. It's like oh, would be nice. No, 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 no. Now it's like I will be nice when it happens because it's in the calendar to go halfway through the year because I can
Mm.
now. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's surreal, man. And I'm super keen to check in with you once you guys have traveled and you've made money online remotely. There's no other feeling like it, man. When you're young and you have the freedom, the ability to move around and make income, like I remember when I was living in Bali for that 3 month period, and I was at some pool. I can't remember where it was, like somewhere off in Uluwatu, I think. And I, at the time, the business owner that I worked with had paid me to create like a sales part of the coaching program. So I was building that out there and I was just chilling with my friend on some like Wednesday afternoon. Took a couple calls that day. I don't know. I think I made like 1,000 commissions that day. And again, we traveled to that side of the island. It's like an hour away. And it just like all of a sudden hit me like 2 or 3 years later. I'm like, wow, like I'm actually doing the thing. Like the stuff that you see on Instagram is like actually materialized and I'm traveling the world and I'm able to make money from my laptop. Um, it just kind of hits you. so quickly. And
Yeah,
I'm sure you'll tell me in a while from now because like it hits you once and then it hits you again later on because you kind of only like really start to realize like what you've actually achieved. Like to get to where you're at your age, man. And I think it'll sink in a little bit later on. And I think particularly when you're in Thailand, you're gonna be like, wow, whoa.
I'm sure it will be for sure. Because when I realized I did over $10,000 in 1 month, honestly, it was like, oh, okay. Like I took a little minute. I'm like in my gratitude diary. I'm like, I'm grateful for this. Then I moved on. I don't think it has hit me yet. I'm like, it's yeah, it's crazy, right? It's crazy.
Yeah, it will hit you probably in Thailand, and yeah, I'm sure it'll be a pretty emotional moment because I remember what it was like for me. Things move so fast, and you don't realize how far you've come. Like 6 months ago, you had no idea about making money online, and like you hadn't made your first dollars there at all, and then it's just like then to making your first like 500, $400 in commissions, like where you're at now. It's such a huge transformation, man. And every client I speak to that's interviewed for a case study has told me it's hit them a couple months later. And he's
Yeah.
like, oh wow, like I've actually done this now. It's crazy. Sometimes we move too fast to kind of appreciate how far we've come. But what would you say in the last 6 months, like what would you say would be like some of your biggest learnings that you could share with some of the guys and some of the listeners?
Ooh, okay.
I
Let me,
put you
let
on
me
the
think
spot.
about this one. Biggest learning. Honestly, what we've discussed, like time literally just takes time. And
Mm,
have shiny object syndrome, jumping from one business model to the other. Keep the main thing, and just lock in. Just put the time in, and yeah, it'll happen. Like that, that's the biggest thing. I know we've discussed already about this interview,
it's
but that,
important.
that would be the biggest learning. Like if you've got the right strategy, you're in the right vehicle or a vehicle, whatever that is. For us, obviously, it's sales. And you
Mm.
just follow the plan, do the work. It'll make sense.
So as well, I'd probably say a big, 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 big topic in the high ticket sales space is offer acquisition and getting jobs. What would you say would be some of your key lessons and takeaways from that, from the training inside RSA and what you've experienced in general? Like as far as like advice that you would give to some beginners that are probably watching this as some like some free value. Like what would you say are the
Mhm.
biggest things that someone should be focusing on? And what are your biggest learnings over the last 6 months in relation to that?
Yeah, yeah. So personal brand is everything. If I could summarize it in one sentence. So have
Mm.
your social setup, obviously how we teach it in the program, and be professional. Like still to this day, I'm in another sales community at the moment. Like I jump on the call, I see some people the way they present themselves. I'm like, no one's gonna hire you. Like your personal brand isn't set up. You don't look professional. So with the offer acquisition side of things, have the social setup, be presentable, and like have a good setup as well. You know, don't want to have your bed in the background or anything like that.
Yeah.
And there was one more. What was it? Oh, and the networking philosophies of just giving. So there's a couple of ways you can provide value to someone if you don't have anything. So either support their goal, connect them with someone, or like share like a valuable knowledge insight or something like that. So learning those theses and understanding that you've got to give and not expect anything back. So
Yeah.
like you just give tenfold, point people in the right direction, connect people, and then all of a sudden, like I get it now. It's like, hey, do you want to jump on this offer, bro? I'm like I don't even, right, I don't actively network anymore because I spent probably 5 months of my 6 months giving. Now it just comes back and it's karma at the end of the day. So like just giving and knowing that it will come back because it will. It just happens when it happens. There's a
It's a
little
great
time.
Yeah, that's a great mindset. again, the same mindset of like everything that you do counts. Um, I've always had that mindset in general, like just give, 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 give. I never kind of like read it in a book. I just naturally the way that I was. But yeah, you'll find that if you're a beginner listening to this, uh, just giving value to people and just earning and meriting goodwill from people will go very, very far. It'll take you places that you could never imagine. Um, and just being a good person in general. Like so many people misconstrue networking as um, like just getting jobs is the big part of it, right? If I do networking, if I go talk to people, I'm going to get jobs. No. Like if you actually are attempting and intending to be a valuable person, that's what will come as a byproduct. You'll get information, you get contacts, you'll get help from people. I feel like a lot of people really struggle with networking as a whole, from what I've observed, is because they are very selfish and they're thinking, how can I get a job right away off somebody? What can I get off someone? If you trade that mindset of like, how can I help others or how can I be of service, you'll find you go very far.
Yeah.
And in combination with that, what you highlight to of the professionalism aspect, really strongly encourage that for people that are listening. So, so, so true. I say the bar is really, really, really low for high ticket sales because it is in
Yeah.
every aspect, in work ethic wise, in just mentality, being a good person. So many of these things are just so lacking with the majority of people, including the professionalism that you spoke about. It's so, 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 so true. Like people just are kind of unconscious and they're not even aware of like how much an impact that actually has. I want people to understand that high ticket sales is a career just like any other. Like if you're gonna show up for like a corporate job, or whatever it is, it's the same way you would show up in high ticket sales. It's a career, it's a job marketplace. It's not like it's a magical weird bubble. It is in certain some respects, but again, if you want to be treated like a professional, you want to make money like a professional, you have to act like a professional. And that goes with how you're presented, that goes with your mentality, that goes with how you show up. Like, I think that's really lacking.
Yeah. And we see it on the company that I work with. Like there are so many people that join a week and a half, 2 weeks later they've dropped
Yeah.
because they're not performing, not putting any work in. Well, like some of them are just so unprofessional. It's like, wow, like, what are you doing? Do you take this seriously or is this just a hobby?
Yeah. Like the bar is so low. And the same thing, it always comes back to like 10K effort. Like if you want to make 10K a month, guys, you have to have that level of effort. Like the amount of people that I see come in to the high tier sales industry that have a 10K goal and a $500 effort is just insane. Like it's very, people are very, very lazy, very lazy. And you might be watching this thinking that you're lazy, but trust me, I have seen lazy. I've coached a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people. I've worked with a lot of beginners. I've seen lazy, and I've seen people who put in the hard work, and it's very, very clear separation. The people that put in excessive effort, it doesn't go unnoticed anywhere. People see that uh, universally, whether it's business owners you work for or whether it's me inside the coaching program. Like I see that all the time. I see the people who are working hard. I see the people that are showing up to coaching calls, right? It never goes unnoticed. Hard work never goes unnoticed. I'm not sure if you've seen that yourself.
No, it's so true. Like even today, like we've got six Australian setters on our team.
Mm,
Only two of us worked, and you've got the founder in there. He's like, "Boys, get it. Weekends where the money's at." Like it's a thing. Like man to man, when you see someone work, you respect it. Like as simple as that. Or not even man to man, person to person. When you see someone put work in, you just
yeah,
respect it. It does not go unnoticed for sure.
absolutely. And I see it all the time inside the RSA program. People who are constantly getting better results and crushing it. Um, like maybe Blaine will watch this, maybe he won't, but I'm going to gas up Blaine for a minute. Because again, he's just such a pure example of it. Like, he's putting in the inputs and he wasn't seeing the outputs. He had wrong offer after wrong offer after wrong offer. So I literally just threw everything that I had at him. I was like, every offer that came across my table, I'm like, bro, here you go. Because he showed up to every single coaching call. He asked questions all the time, super attentive, listening, implementing what I'm telling him to do. And now I strongly do believe that he'll make 20, 25, 30K US plus per month this year, like without a doubt. There are people on his offer that are doing that already right now, and the offer does 1 million a month. Um, Rule of thumb, principle, hard work just doesn't go unnoticed. It's very, very important. And there's always that mutual respect, especially from me, considering I know what shit I had to eat to get to the point where I am today. I understand what that person's going through, so I absolutely respect it.
Mm.
Um, I'm curious as well. I love to always ask this question. What does your family think of all this? Like what is their perspective on you making money online and having a career online?
I don't really think anything of it, to be honest. Like,
Interesting.
yeah, it's obviously that they're proud of me, but they just don't understand it. I think that's what it is. They just
Yeah.
know I sit in my room all day and made 10K plus last month, but I don't think they get what we actually do. Like my dad would come home from work. He's like, "Oh, can you help me with this?" I'm like, I got a call in 2 minutes. Sorry, I can't do that." He's like, "What do you mean? Like, what do you mean? I need help with something." I'm like, "No, no, I literally, I've got a call." He's like, "Okay, whatever." So
Yeah.
they really get it, to be honest, bro.
Yeah. That'll happen. I think it's hard for a lot of parents who are older as well to compute that you're doing a job, basically. They're just
Yeah.
like, what do you do? What are you doing, man? Like, why can't you help me with that? So that's interesting. Yeah, I'm always curious because there's a lot of different parents in the spectrum that are supportive, don't understand it, don't get it. Um, I think the sooner and earlier you can move out, the better in relation to that. It's like if you're in the right environment, the right people, like, especially if you're getting a bit of traction as well, if you listen to this, moving with a bunch of guys to Thailand and doing a sales house is one of the best things you can do.
Yep.
Australia or getting around the right people in the right environment will do wonders, and you have some super cool experiences, and that's why I'm excited for when you go to Koh Samui because I think you're absolutely going to love it, and you love your martial arts as well. I'm pretty sure, so you'll really enjoy that over there.
Yeah, it'll be crazy, bro. It'll be crazy. All from high ticket sales.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. So when it comes to like the RSA and like your overall experience working with me, um, let's just kind of go very high level and maybe we'll dive into some of the details, but what would you say your feedback has been of like us working together, the RSA in general?
Well, just to start with you, like you actually care. Like you want us to get results. As simple as that. And the course materials, like everything laid out from point A to point Z, literally just follow the plan and you'll get to where you want to go. It's that simple. Like you've got the right plan, you've got the right blueprint, just got to commit, take action, and it will work. Like that's as simple as I could put it for sure.
Where do you think you found the most value in the training program?
If I could pin it down to one thing, I
Hmm.
would say networking and personal brand.
Hmm.
Mm.
In what aspect?
Um, like I'll never make money working a job for the rest of my life. Like I've got these foundational skills
Hmm.
of offer acquisition, not to mention the sales skills. Oh,
Hmm.
that's sales skills are there. But I've now got the tools, so for the rest of my life I can make money online. And
Mm.
that's it's just crazy to me to fathom.
How does that feel that like, because I know how I felt when I kind of came to that realization. Like, how does that feel knowing that you have the ability that you could go to zero anywhere in the world, and as long as you're in an English speaking country or you have access to a laptop, you can get back on your feet.
Freedom. That's what it is.
Mm.
And no one can take it away from you. Like you've got the
Mm.
skill. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, you could lose your social media accounts, but you've
Mm.
got the skills to build everything back up. It's crazy, bro. It's autonomy as well.
It's amazing, man. It's amazing. It's super awesome for me to hear that, to see that you've had that transformation with something that I've created like RSA. It's really cool to see that. You've said that the training program is like very like A to Z, but how would you describe the program structure to someone who isn't in there?
Mm. So I remember when I first joined, you've got a deadline. You're like, okay, you've signed up now. Like we had like our onboarding kind of semi-sales call. Like I was I was already in. It was a collect payment call.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and he said, okay, we'll book our proper onboarding call next week. Just by then, you've got to have this module, and this module complete. I'm like, oh, okay, right. So that was all the like the mindset. I think the majority of that was the mindset side of things, the networking theses. And then a week later or so, we had our onboarding call, like our proper call. And
Hmm.
he said, literally just follow the blueprint and follow the plan. So we started with getting all the social media set up the correct way. We learnt the networking philosophies beforehand and a few
Mm.
mindset stuff in there as well, or a lot of mindset stuff rather. And then just all the different outreach strategies for the networking to land the offer. And then once you're on the offer, like you've got all the interview phases, um, like everything related to interviewing. And then you've got everything like from there, you go to the next module that's all related to when you're on the offer. Like, okay, you've got setting. Now, once you've ticked off setting or once you want to start learning closing, you go to the next module. So it's like just follow the plan and just work your way down and then work your way down in the next one. And by no time you'll be where you want to be.
Very good description. But I think that would be helpful with someone who's considering RSA and wanted to have a. And so I'm curious, you've obviously connected with more than like a few salespeople in the high ticket sales space, I'm sure, different communities, things that you've seen here and there. And you've probably had conversations with people who've done different training programs before, like in the high ticket sales space. You've probably met a few people like that. Would
Yeah,
you say you
yeah,
have?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I think I've met a
So
few, yeah.
you might have like a bit of contrast and comparison. So besides, I would say, because that would kind of come back to the same point of just like the fact that I just care, which again, I know that's a surprising thing, but it's pretty rare to find that in our space. It's usually just some marketer or some grifter that's just like ready to run up to $1 million a month. But again, as I've talked about a million times, I don't care about doing that, to be honest. Um, what do you feel the RSA has in its differences compared to like what's out there from what you've seen and spoken to like other people in the space? Like, what do you
Mm.
feel is like the contrast from what you've seen?
I'd say that the biggest thing that separates the RSA is it's one program for everything. So absolute, like I talk with some people that have done a program for networking. Yeah, they learned some good things there. They've done some sales training programs like some other ones. Yeah, they learned some good things. But the thing with that program, the offer acquisition side of things wasn't competent, wasn't good. The thing with the RSA that separates it from everything else, in my opinion, is you can come in as a complete beginner, no sales experience whatsoever, and then leave the other side making multiple five figures a month, all in one program. That would be the biggest thing.
Love that. No, that's really cool. And in case it isn't obvious already, how likely would you be to recommend the RSA to someone who's looking to get started with this?
10 out of 10. Yeah, for sure.
Amazing.
100%. Yeah.
That's awesome. And if you were talking to someone who's kind of sitting on the fence, who's unsure about making money online, whether or not it's for them, or just high ticket sales in general, or they're thinking about the RSA, like what would you say to someone who's kind of sitting on the fence right now? Maybe yourself, post 6 months ago.
The blueprint is there. The plan is it's made out. All you have to do is take that risk, invest in yourself. It's not really a risk if you follow the plan, is it? All you have to do, like the plan's there, you've just got to grab it and do the work. That's as simple as that. It's right there in front of you to get to where you want to go to get the freedom. You you've just got to take that initial step, jump in the deep end, do the work, but it's right there. The plan's right there. That's all I would say.
Love it. And uh, my final question to you, and obviously it's going to be hard because I mean it's kind of aligning to like repeating what you just said, but like, is there any like other final notes or like comments you wanted to end on that you wanted to share with everybody?
Mm. Just I've I've from when I started to where I am now, completely
Mm.
different person. Like my beliefs, my skill set, my connections, personal brand. It's like if you just commit yourself to the journey, you will just constantly level up your character. And I can even just think like a couple years from now, where will I be? Like all from just following the plan, following the blueprint that's laid out and doing the work.
Beautiful. Very well said. Very well said. Well, guys, there you have it. The 18-year-old that's making, nearly 11 grand every single month. That's awesome. That's super, super cool. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you did and you want to get similar results at Jax and all the other case studies in the channel and all the other case studies that I will continue to post, which again, in 2025, you're going to see lots of those coming out. There's too many to count in the pipeline that are yet to be filmed, posted, and that are very close. If you want to get similar results, you know where to find me. There's a link down in the description with a type form that you can fill in. It'll take you 3, 4, 5 minutes. Put in some actual effort. You might be speaking to me or the team. We cancel applications all the time. So when the question is put to you of why do you want to join the RSA, actually give it a little bit of effort. Don't say, I want to make more money. Um, this is fine, but I do regularly vet applications to RSA. It's not like a marketing BS tactic. It's generally the reason why we get such good results for people is we work with the right people. People like Jax, people like everyone you've seen on the channel. So make sure you put some effort into it if you're interested. But otherwise, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the interview and we'll see you in the next one.